oftentimes we look at people and we try to find a reason that they are where they are and why we're not to give ourselves the excuse not to pursue what we want to pursue. So let me let you know now, you don't get off of not pursuing your dreams. You owe that to me and everyone around you to pursue what your heart is telling you to pursue. I was a teenage mom. I dropped out of high school. I got my GED. I didn't start college till I was 20.
You're listening to Nurses on Fire, the podcast for nurses by nurses aspiring to financial independence. I'm your host, Naseema McElroy of Financially Intentional. Let's spark some flames, y'all. Have you gone to the grocery store a million times this week and still forgot the onion? Don't trip. Instacart's got your back. Get local fresh groceries delivered right to your front door in as fast as an hour. No need to stress like I do when I send my boyfriend to the store for apples and half of them are bruised. Every item is hand selected by shoppers to your personal preference. And check this, you can shop from multiple stores in one order. Instacart also looks out for your pockets by highlighting deals to help you save money. Get unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. To start your 14-day free trial, click the link in the show notes to let Instacart know that I sent you and to help support the show.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Nurses on Fire podcast.
And if this is your first time listening, thank you so much for joining us. I would be eternally grateful if you took a moment to leave a review, rate, and subscribe to the podcast. And when you leave that review, please make sure to take a screenshot and send it to Naseema at financiallyintentional.com. And we are having a giveaway to get to our first 100 reviews. So in order to enter into the giveaway, please follow these 3 steps.
Step 1.
Search the Nurses on Fire podcast in the Apple Podcast app and scroll down to leave a review. Before you hit send on that review, take a screenshot.
Step 2.
Send a picture of that screenshot to Naseema at financiallyintentional.com.
Step 3.
Join the Nurses on Fire Facebook group. When you do, it'll ask you to enter an email. Make sure you enter the same email that you used to send the picture. All right, let's hop right into our review of the week. This review comes from Mama Baraka, and it is short and sweet, and it is titled Love Her. Naseema has a clear point of view, and I am here for it. Thank you for being a voice for nurses and women of color. Thank you so much, Mama Baraka, for that review, for that 5-star review. Let's hop right into this next episode with Dr. Kiana Jones, who has been a registered nurse for 11 years. So Kiana received her Bachelor's of Science in Health Promotion and Disease Prevention from the University of Southern California. Hey, fight on Trojans. She went on to graduate from the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA, with a Master's in Science in Nursing in the first class of the Master's Entry Clinical Education Nursing Program. Kiana has recently completed her PhD from the University of San Diego in May 2019, making her officially Dr. Jones. She has also been an educator for baccalaureate pre-licensure nursing students at a large private university in California for 8 years and has assisted with course curriculum development and in-class success for the students. Kiana also works as a nursing administrator at a hospital in South Los Angeles and works per diem at a large university-affiliated hospital in the metropolitan Los Angeles area. With a myriad of accolades under her belt, Kiana added entrepreneur to her title in October 2008 and opened a beauty and wellness boutique in Artesia, California. Without further ado, episode 22, This Nurse Can Do It All with Dr. Kiana Jones. All right, Nurses on Fire podcast listeners, I am ecstatic to welcome Dr. Jones to the Nurses on Fire podcast. Welcome, Dr. Jones. I'm Miss Kiana.
Thank you for having me here. I am so honored to be on your show.
All right, so let's dive right into your story. Tell me what you're all about.
Well, I am a registered nurse of 11 years. It'll actually be 12 years next year. As far as my background, I actually am a high school dropout. Actually, I'm a teenage mom, so I had some obstacles and challenges starting out early in my life, but I'm fortunate and blessed enough that I was able to overcome them. And I feel like nursing basically leveraged that for me. So I actually have a bachelor's degree in public health from the University of Southern California, USC.
Hey.
And I have Trojans, fight on. And my master's is actually in nursing. I was the first master's entry clinical nurse class at UCLA. That dates me as well. And I just recently completed my dissertation and obtained my PhD in nursing in May of 2019. And my dissertation topic was studying COPD in African Americans. So I completed that in May. And so now I'm on to bigger and better things. All while I've been working, a mom, a wife, just other life things still happening.
Doing all of the things. And congratulations on obtaining your doctorate. That's a major, major accomplishment. I often joke and say, I'll never get my PhD because I'm not a player hater. So,
right.
But it's just because I'm lazy.
Let me tell you, it was a weird place. So I had a goal. When I completed my master's, I was like, research has always been a challenge for me, right? Don't like statistics. And I knew PhD would mean a lot of statistics, high level statistics. So that had always been my my little Achilles heel. And then, I had set a goal that by the time I turned 40, I wanted to have my PhD and I was going to go ahead and tackle that fear. So my daughter was graduating high school. She was going to Howard University. And I was thinking, now this is my daughter that I was pregnant with at 17, had her at 18. So I was like, I don't know, I need to do something with myself. So I decided to apply to the program. I got in and then I was like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why am I adding on additional stress in my life? And then I was honestly considering rescinding my application. And then they offered me a scholarship. And I was like, damn. Now, if that's not going to be ungrateful to actually decline a scholarship because I'm scared. So I was like, forget it. I'm just about to go on and do it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's how we have to push through life. We got to do it scared. We got to do it scared sometimes. And so, yeah. So it's at UC San Diego. So was this a distance program?
So it's actually the University of San Diego that I went to. And, that's the private school. And you know what? It's not distant. I drove once a week to San Diego in the morning on the freeway at 5 and came back home every single Thursday. So it wasn't distant. I don't mind distance education at all, but I just hadn't ever, I'd never done a distant education program. So I was just kind of uncomfortable with kind of switching it up. So I was like, forget it. It was just one day a week. I thought like, oh, that's not much. But baby, that drive and coming back took me 3.5 hours. So,
oh,
and then of course I had to complicate things because being the person that I am, I ended up pregnant my second year. So I had to drive back and forth, big and pregnant, girl. So yeah, it was definitely, I was tested. And I'm very, very, very proud of myself that I still stuck to it and pushed through in spite of all the obstacles and challenges. So yeah.
And I am proud of you too. So let's talk about your journey through your nursing career. So where'd you start out when you first graduated as a nurse?
So my background is actually critical care. So I started out at the VA and I worked there in ICU, step down, we rotated to ED as well as PACU. Of course, initially I was like, oh my God, like this is way too much. But now it provided me with so much experience to be able to rotate through those units. And I did that for 4 years. It was great. It was a great experience. However, for me, there was something missing. And I knew that when I started into nursing. I always said that I wanted to, be an entrepreneur. I really wasn't one that wanted to just commit my time totally to the bedside. I always knew that. But I was discouraged often from senior nurses that was like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. Even I got backlash from starting in critical care and not going to med surg first. They're like, no, you got to go to med surg first.
Wait, let's spend a moment there because I hear that way too much. And I never worked as a med surg nurse. I started off in mom baby and then I went to labor and delivery. Yeah. And that's what I do. And that's what I love. But I don't know where this comes from, that you're not a well-rounded nurse unless you work in med-surg. I don't know. So I just want to dispel that myth for people who want to go into nursing or people who want to do other things in nursing, like come into the hospital environment. You do not have to start at med-surg. It does not make you more or less of a nurse. But I think I just wanted to dispel that. Sorry.
For me, I totally agree with you on that. And it's unfortunate because even at the philosophy level of nursing, what I've learned is that we minimize our profession when we do that. Like, we are a scientifically based profession. So we're not skill based. Yes, we do spend most of our time at the bedside, and that's what we teach our students in the curriculum for nursing. But we are scientists also. We are researchers, we are administrators. And I'm going to be honest with you, you don't have to start there, because if we want to be respected as a profession, we have to change that. You are not just a good nurse if you can start an IV. You're a good nurse also if you can contribute to the science of nursing. And that is something that people do not realize. I get a lot of backlash for that, because how my experience was when I first started, I am so supportive of new nurses and millennial nurses. And because I teach also at a university, I tell my students, listen, I want them to know that you are entering into, yes, it's the most trusted profession, but there are so many things out there you can do, and you can still add to the body of nursing and contribute to our profession. And it does not just matter how good you are at starting an IV. So you and we're here, girl, because that's exactly what I say.
Yes. I think I'm just all about non-traditional paths and breaking stereotypes in general. I think even the way that I came into the personal finance space, most people are like, but you're a nurse. And I'm just like, but I can still impact people and I still have a message to share. And that's all that matters. At the end of the day, if I inspire somebody to do better for themselves and for their family and to create freedom and unlock levels of freedom and generational wealth in their life, that's my job. So we should have the same goals. So it shouldn't matter how I get in the door.
And I'm going to tell you something. You and I have that in common, but there is also an undertone to that, and that is career nurses. See, a lot of that stems from traditional nurses that go straight into it, because even getting my master's entry in nursing, they were pushing back on our program. Like, how are you going to get your master's degree? Well, you don't even have a bachelor's degree. And it's like, every other profession, you can get a master's degree. You don't have to start at the baccalaureate level. So I think that we share is what has us thinking outside of the box as well, and not just following the status quo of what they have set for nurses. And that's changing the narrative.
Yeah. And I think that ability for us to think outside the box also attributes to us being successful in other areas in our life. So not only are you a nurse and being successful in multiple areas in nursing, different units, being in administration, but you also have another business. Let's talk about that.
All right. So I actually have an aesthetic business that I opened. And actually, I had my soft opening in January of this year, but I actually attained my location in October. So this makes my 1-year anniversary. Yay.
Yay.
And what I do is permanent makeup. I still do have a nursing piece to that. So like vitamin B injections, IV infusions, but my original, I started in more non-nursing, which was the permanent makeup. So everybody knows the word microblading. So it's like microblading, ombre brows, there's lip tinting. So it's all permanent makeup. And then I just recently started adding on other services, which like teeth whitening, tooth jewelry. That's a popular one. And so, yeah, so I've been open for a year and that's my baby. And I'm kind of gradually, making my side gig the hospital and, the job and making this my primary gig, So that's kind of where I'm at right now in a transition.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I love that you have a nursing component to it, but it's not all nursing based. But because you are a nurse, you're able to do so many more things than just an esthetician or anybody else in that industry. You can do Botox if you want to. I mean, like the possibilities are endless. And this is the whole purpose of this podcast is like, yes, we're nurses. No, we don't just have to be at the bedside. We have so much opportunity out there. And so for people who are like stuck, like thinking that they just have to do this one thing for the rest of their life, let me just tell you, there are so many ways to make money, infinite ways to make money, infinite ways to use your license. You just have to know what's possible and just go for it. So talk to nurses out there who may be interested in opening their own business. I know you coach people in finding their passions and doing side businesses, but I want to talk specifically about your beauty business and how you would encourage somebody, or how can another nurse do? Oh, say it again. How
a permanent makeup
can? Yes.
So
thank you.
The first thing I tell people, especially us nurses, because this is one of our disadvantages to our profession, is we are so in a box. So you have to first give yourself the time to really see what you like and be open to it not being a home healthcare agency or a staffing company or opening a CNA school. No shade to any of those, by the way. They're very lucrative, but you have to find what you love. And then if you're into makeup and beauty and you find that that's something that gives you joy, by all means, you can go that route. And the startup is nowhere near as much as it is for, like I just mentioned, home health and staffing companies, because basically you just go get your training. It takes from the time you start training, a good program should give you your initial practical and didactic training, which is like a couple days of training, but then you get a month at least before you start working on a model, because my philosophy is I'm working on someone's face, and that's your identity. That's what the first thing they see. And ethically and morally, and this is something that I can attribute nursing to, I know that is something that I have to make sure that I am good at before I actually start working on people's face. Okay. So if you have a love for, permanent makeup and you have a love for beauty, it'll be an easy transition to go into the permanent makeup space. And then you don't even have to start out with a brick and mortar. If you can do it from your home. Out here in LA County, you don't have to have like a whole brick and mortar location. You can do it out of your home, but you do have to get it inspected by the Department of Public Health and things like that, because you are dealing with blood, which also puts you as advantageous for you, because as nurses, we know how to make sure that we do not contaminate and that we are using contact and standard precautions. So all you have to do is get your licensing, get your training, and then have you a location. Even you can rent rooms. Some like boutiques and beauty salons offer like where you could just rent your room weekly, monthly, and charge initially like, $200 per client. It takes like 3.5 hours when you first start, but as you continue in your craft, you can go up in price dramatically. And you go down in the time it takes. So it's such a win. So I was just charging like $200 trying to ramp up. Now I'm up to $450. It doesn't take me 3.5, 4 hours anymore. I'm down to 2.5, 3 hours, which means I could do 3 clients in a day. And that is a win. Okay. And that's just, you can start off, small. You don't have to get into it like too big, and then continue to grow and learn how to sell. I think that's one of the challenges, especially for nurses, because we're such carers and givers. We have to switch and learn how to be business people, which is something that I also had to learn during this journey, and I'm still learning. So, but yeah, it's something to get into. Super lucrative, increasing by 30% next year, $1 billion industry. Like, it's a good little gig to get into.
Let's talk about the training, because a lot of schools out there that may not be reputable that I want people to avoid. I want people to know how to go to a reputable school and the things that they should be looking for.
So here's the thing, so permanent makeup itself is still yet to be regulated. Okay. So it's not like, with a CNA school, like you have to go through certain accrediting bodies in order to start taking students, right? With this, it's like a trade. Just think about if you want to start tattooing. You get an apprenticeship, and that's how, and then gradually, as you meet certain milestones, that's when you start doing your own clients. So that's pretty much how it is. However, there are some programs out there that take you in, you a couple days, and then send you on your way. That's not the ideal program that you want to go to. The reason why is because you need a lot of support. And I realized this, like I've so far trained with 3 different people. They were great, taught me different techniques that helped me learn. But at the same time, I still, even to this day, sometimes I'll send a text or DM like, hey, what you think about this or this, look at this client. Like, how do you think, so you want to make sure that they don't just take you on those couple of days and then just drop you off in the ocean and say, swim. So that's one of the main things. And then another one is you want to make sure that you see their product. So if you like the work they produce, then they're going to teach you how to create that same work. Okay. So once you do your homework and you look into that, then that's how you decide which course you really want to take. But the main thing is, because it's not, a lot of people out there think that, you just go and by the time you leave there, you're ready to get started and you're going to be making $400 per client. Like, that's not how it works. And we have to keep in mind, I know we see Instagram and we think everything is instant, but it's not instant. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes sacrifice, and it also takes investing in yourself. So that's what I tell people. And I try to, if nothing else, when people, they DM me, they ask me questions, I'll say, look, I'm just going to let you know, these are the things you need to look for, whether you go with me or not. In order for you to be successful, these are the things I want you to know that you need to put on your checklist. And then decide whoever you're going to go with. I don't compete against I support everyone. I want, in my world, there's abundance. So I don't compete, right?
Yes.
There's plenty for us all. And what's mine is always going to be mine. So I just say, but I, in all consciousness, can't just, send people on their way without providing support, because I know it's much needed in this field. So permanent makeup, a lot of nurses are trying to get into it because we're typically taught, or we think, when we need extra money, we go pick up extra shifts. That's not my philosophy. I work smarter. That's how I've been able to kind of finagle my way throughout nursing. And I haven't had a full-time job since I left the VA, because I've been like dibbling dabbling here, doing this, doing that, but I'm not picking up extra shifts. Sorry.
So what is the typical price range for a training program for permanent makeup?
They range between $2,000 and $3,500. And that depends on the technique. So there's different techniques, like the microblading. That's the popular one everyone know about. The next one is ombre, which is more guppy density look. And that's with the actual tattoo machine. And then the other one is like a combo brow. There's several names. They use a blade and shade, combo brow, micro shading, but it's basically a combination of the microblading as well as the powdered look. So, and it's anywhere between $2,000 and $3,500 for each technique they charge.
What about the equipment?
So there's so many different permanent makeup machines. They range anywhere from $200 to, I've even seen some as high as $2,000. It's such a range, and you just have to, once you get your clientele and you start, upping your prices, then of course you increase your machine value. So I'm not at the 2000s yet, but I have moved up and graduated from the one I had when I first started. So it ranged, but
But so to get started, the startup costs aren't a lot, like $5,000 at the most, like to really like get your foot like in, to get the basics of what you need to get started. So it's totally doable.
Let me tell you, and that's the thing, like, I just want to shake people sometimes and like, do you want to know how much debt I'm in? Like, if I'm just saying, like, I love nursing and I wouldn't really change it. However, if I was given the opportunity to pay $5,000 total, I'm just saying $5,000 with everything, licensing, all the fees, whatever you have to pay, your training, all of that. Literally, you can recoup that in 6 months and everything else is profit. Come on.
I know, but we're not ashamed to go in $100,000 in debt to be a nurse.
Man, hello. And I'm saying like, but we have to, especially as nurses, we think in shifts. And so we're like, okay, I can pick up another shift. But what we don't realize is as you're picking up those more shifts, you're making less and less and less on those shifts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't understand that.
So true. No, we have to diversify our income streams.
We have to.
The most wealthy people have at least 7 income streams. And so we have to think like that if we want to build real wealth.
Yeah.
So, yep, I love it. I love all of it.
So it's just I think it's a mindset. And I feel like, everyone is on their own time, but I think we can all agree that as nurses, we do labor intensive work. Okay. And we can see our senior nurses who were old school, working 6 shifts for 10 years a week. And we know we don't want to be like that. So in order for us to get to a point where we have a good balance and we are really making the money so that we can live the life we want to make and we can have that financial freedom,
yes,
we have to switch it up a little bit.
Yes, I love it. I'm known as a debt slayer because of the $200,000 in student loans I slayed in 2.5 years. I hated those loans and dealing with the loan servicers. I was head down and focused and wanted to get rid of the debt as soon as possible. Knocking out these loans and seeing a 0 loan balance was one of the most liberating feelings I have ever felt. But recently I learned that by not optimizing my student loan payoff strategy, I lost money. I'm talking about big money, y'all. I could have saved $80,000 if I had a customized student loan plan by the team at Student Loan Planner. Please don't make the same mistake as me. If you have student loan debt, especially in the 6 figures, head over to studentloanplanner.com/financially intentional to get your customized student loan plan today. Do you know how your retirement funds are invested? Do you know how much you're paying in fees? Chances are you're on the same boat as some of my coworkers. Some of them set up their retirement when they first got hired and never looked at it again. Some have let a computer select their investments and don't even know what they're invested in. Worst of all, some people have their retirement funds sitting in a savings account and they're not even invested in the market because they're afraid to lose money. That's hella scary, y'all. What's even scarier is that some of you listening don't even have a clue what I'm talking about. And guess what? This is super common. This has to change today. Let Bloom do the work for you. Head over to financiallyintentional.com/Bloom and get your free retirement account analysis. They'll check and see if your retirement account is optimized for you, and they'll let you know if you're paying too much in fees. That's Bloom with 3 O's. Bloom can also manage your retirement account on an ongoing basis so you can take the stress out of retirement planning. If you choose to work with Bloom, their fees are incredibly low, less than your Netflix subscription. You have enough to worry about. Let Bloom handle your retirement account. The hardest thing you'll have to do when it comes to your retirement is remember that Bloom is spelled with 3 O's. Head over to financiallyintentional.com/Bloom. Remember, spelled with 3 O's, and get your retirement account squared away today. And talk to me about the education or the training that you do.
So the training that I do is ombre brow training. That's one and that's just related to permanent makeup. So my target right now is nurses because I just love us, right? So I want to get us in there. I know there is a lot of nurses because listen, we have that false sense of like we make so much money, but we know after taxes and everything else, especially living in Southern California, and the time that we take away from our families, like you can't recoup that, right? So my target is them because I want us to be exposed and to have a better sense of what else is out there that's enjoyable. So one of the criteria is I'm like, do you like beauty? Because I'm not just as well as I tell my students, don't be nurses because of the money, I would tell someone who wants to do permanent makeup, like, don't say, oh, I want to do it because I know a lady who makes $700 per client. I'm like, but you don't love it. And so do you want to work on somebody's face and you don't have that passion just because of the money? Like, it's not going to work. Like, you're not going to be able to, you're either going to not enjoy it or somebody's going to sue the pants off of you because of your product. So I train them. My training is 2 days. It's a weekend. The first day is pretty much didactic. The second day is a little bit of didactic. I also add a business piece, drop all the gems that I wish somebody would have told me when I first started. And then I do a model demonstration. No one touches a client within those first 2 days. I'm not comfortable with it. I give them a month, and that's of them sending me back and forth their practice skins. So it's like little skins that look like regular skins, where they're actually working on drawing the brow, shading it in. We go back and forth. I critique. I require a minimum of a month. Some may take longer if I'm not comfortable. I have to be comfortable with you working on someone's face, even though I'm going to be there. And so once they complete that, we go back and forth. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. My thing is, at 6 months, you're not practicing enough. So I can't be like forever and ever, just whenever you're ready and you come a year later, right? So I have to give them like a little urgency. So then they come to my shop, because I'm only training right now here. They come to my shop. They do a model demonstration. I critique, they pass, and then I still provide backup for them in case they have questions and things like that for up to 6 months. So it's a long process, and I really want people to know that you want that support. You do not want anybody that's going to send you off in 2 days and say, go and be great, because it does not happen like that. I do also teach women, or I'm working with women, and I call it sidepreneurs, because I also feel like there's a hole for people like me who also still, you have a financial responsibility. So although it's great to say, like, jump, you can do it, like burn all the boats, and, that sounds good. But we have other obligations. So a lot of us are kind of testing the waters, and we're gradually getting out there, seeing what it's like. So I really work with women on like that mindset shift, like being realistic. Although I am one who listens to motivational talks and I go to motivational conferences and I support that totally, I know that to have a mindset and understand the process. If you are getting into it ready for it to happen within 6 months, within 4 months, within 2 months, then you're not really in it for the long haul. And so your chance of success diminishes if you have unrealistic expectations. So I try to train women through that process, and also the whole setup part, like from the name to the type of entity you choose to, what you want to do, like kind of getting you through that part, and then still keeping you with realistic expectations.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I know that you mentioned something about ways that we can use leverage in our credit to build a business. You want to talk more about that?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So before, I was one of those nurses who had to have this big cushion in my bank account, my savings account. Also, credit card, 10%, please. I don't want to be in debt, try to pay off these student loans. And then I started with this journey where I was, resetting my mind, and I was meditating and praying. And I'm like, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That never was a question, but how and what was always, an issue for me. And then I realized that, I got this money sitting in my savings account, and I'm getting 0.00 whatever on my return. What am I doing? Not to mention, my 401k, and I'm allowing these hedge fund people to invest my money, and then it goes up and down. And even that return is not so great. Right? But yet I won't invest in my own self with my own money. Like, something's wrong. So that was really a big part of my thinking. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I got a cash advance, or not a cash advance, but you know how you can write the check and you don't have to pay no interest on it for a year. So maybe I'll take that, and then I'll have a good strategic plan where I could pay it back before that year is out. I just took out a loan, no interest on it, because I'm paying back. And I did that. That's exactly, I was scared. But, things started to make sense for me. And I'm like, even with my savings, I'm like, this money is not making me any money. I was looking at them statements and yearly statements. Like, wait, what am I doing here? Like, it's a false sense of security. And the saddest part about it is we won't even invest in ourselves. Like that. Honestly, my education is increasing my value every single. So like, and by a large amount, not like what they're giving me at the bank. So like I had to rethink my mind about money and understanding the energy that I'm putting out there when I'm hoarding it because I'm afraid of something happening. And, you know, all of that, I started looking into all that and I'm like, I need to be open and understand that this flows. Money's coming to me. Like, I don't have to sit up and hold it. But, you know, a lot of that comes from, you know, childhood and, you know, a lot of issues you experience growing up. So you have all these fears that you have to deal with and let go. And the bottom line is scared money don't make no money. So you got to change that.
That's right. And, you know, there are two things that I really want to address there. The first thing is that I don't know why people are so afraid to invest on themselves. Your greatest investment is in yourself. Another thing is that, you know, and this is part of our conditioning. And, you know, as a culture, we have been taken advantage of a lot. So a lot of people, you know, are really risk adverse, like they really don't want to take any kind of risk with their money. And then that's why, you know, from generation to generation, we start from zero because we have nothing to leave behind. And so, you know, everything is a risk. It's a risk leaving your money under your mattress because your mattress get burned down. It's just, I mean, you know, how much level of risk do we want to take? And I really feel like we need to step out of that fear, like we talked about earlier. A lot of great things in life come from operating, knowing that, you know, it is scary, but pushing through and doing it anyway.
And so let me ask you, and so this is something that is interesting. We don't want to take risks, but we allow I just think that speaks so much to us. And I was guilty of it too, by the way. So I'm enlightened now. So, but I do want your listeners to know, like, it's something to be said that we could trust other people with our money. Like our money is sitting in the bank and they're collecting major interest off of our dollars and giving us pennies. Like, so when you think about it like that, and who's better to trust with your money but you? But I think it's like you said, it's how we're conditioned to think like our money is safe in the bank. But if our economy crashes, they're gonna tell you sorry. They gonna say we only guarantee $400,000. So if you got sorry. So why are we so okay with trusting that and not trusting in ourselves? Like, and I get that we have to be responsible, especially when we have obligations, we have kids, we have to make sure they're fed, a roof over their head. But we literally are comfortable when we have this little cushion. And if money starts being pulled from it, we get anxious and afraid. And it's like, no, if you have a good plan and you have done your research, then your chances of success is much greater than leaving your money in that bank where you feel it's so safe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, you know, as women, you know, most nurses are women.
Yes,
we're a female predominated workforce. But, you know, we also have like the security thing and where we want our money. We kind of just like hoard our money like in our banks. And even if it's in our investment account, we only put it in like the cash equivalent fund or the money market fund in there. And we're scared to make it grow. We have to be better.
Yeah.
We have to be better. We have to do better. And because it's not just you that it affects, it's your whole family and it's your circle around you that you have the opportunity to help and influence if, you know, you're not operating out of a place of fear. And so I really feel like we have a responsibility just in general to do better. So
yes, I agree with you totally.
We're right here. Yeah,
exactly. I'm with you.
So right now you're working still as a nurse. So you work in administration and you work on the unit?
All right. So I work at UCLA 4 days a month. I'm per diem. And so they call that the resource pool. So I go wherever they send me 4 days out of the month. I still work as administrative nursing supervisor at a local hospital here. And I do per diem as well. And then I teach my students. Actually, I've been faculty at this university for about 8 years. And now I'm adjunct. So like those jobs, and primarily my courses are online. Um, so pretty much I work like 2 days a week, and then I dedicate my time visiting my students who are out at clinical sites, and of course doing homework that's done from home or from my place of business, and then everything else is dedicated there. And it really gives you a good rounded picture of nursing. Let me tell you.
Yes.
At the administrative level, like organizationally in a healthcare organization, and then at the bedside, like right there, ground zero with my patients, and then the students who are entering future, so like I really get to see it on all levels, and the ability to actually flex between the two. Because when I'm at the bedside, I'm at the bedside. My 4 patients, I don't worry about nothing's going on around me, just taking care of what, but at the organizational level, of course, I'm responsible for the hospital. So then, you're looking from the 30,000 foot level. And then as a professor, like just getting my students to be passionate about our profession, like it's my obligation to make sure that they come out and they know what we're about. And it's not just bed. For me, my little handle is it's not just bedside. So I want my nursing students also to understand, and it's public health that I am adjunct for. So we are not at the hospital, thank God. So they're out in the community, and I'm able to expose them to other things besides bedside nursing. So I get to see it all. I love it. Honestly, I don't see myself ever getting out of academia. I'm probably going to, when I get old, that's where I retire, and do research. That's the plan. But definitely that one is really close to my heart. Like really close.
And I know people are like, oh my God, so you basically have your 3 jobs plus your own business, and you're a mom of 5. How do you juggle it all?
Let me tell you what I tell her, like, oh my God, you do this, you do that. And then after they finish all, find out everything I do, I'm like, yeah. And I probably work less than you because I don't work 40 hours a week. So I know it sounds busy, but I actually get to spend time with my daughter and with my husband and with my kids. Like with the business, it does take a lot of my time right now because I'm still at the startup, but I'm getting this business set up so it can function independently. I have chairs that's going to be rented. So I have a plan. But as with any startup, you're taking a loss. So that's where we're sacrificing the time now so that we can have the time and financial freedom later. Right. So that's the goal.
I love it. And I mean, your skill set is just like impeccable, like unbeatable. Like you have so many skills that are transferable though, but that's what makes you a good business owner because you've got the administrative skills, you've got the bedside skills, which is your customer service, your skill-based, skills and then you have, your teaching skills, which all is encompassed in your business. And so love that. And the thing is, every nurse has that. Every nurse has that executive skill, that bedside skill, that customer service skill, and that education. That's part of our nursing model. And so we can do anything. And so I'm glad
we can do anything.
See what you're doing.
Listen.
Yes. And you're modeling that.
And the thing I want people to know is don't look at someone. Oftentimes we look at people and we try to find a reason that they are where they are and why we're not to give ourselves the excuse not to pursue what we want to pursue. So let me let you know now, you don't get off of not pursuing your dreams. You owe that to me and everyone around you to pursue what your heart is telling you to pursue. I was a teenage mom. I dropped out of high school. I got my GED. I didn't start college till I was 20, and that was a community college I went to. So you don't have no excuses. And I still complicated things and had a baby at every level of my degree because my kids are 10 years apart. So you don't get to have an excuse. You owe it to me to achieve your dreams because your dreams may come true, and that can help someone else realize their dreams based on yours. So you owe it to me, and I'm challenging your audience.
Girl, mic drop. I just, that's it. That's all I'm saying is like, I love that. You know what? People are going to listen to this. They're going to try to poke holes in it. Well, I can't do this because, well, if I, believe me, I hear it every single day. That don't have nothing to do with me or Dr. Jones. That has something to do with how you feel about yourself. So step back, check that,
yes.
but then come back and get this knowledge, that these gems that we dropping for you, because we wouldn't be here if we wasn't trying to inspire you. We're not here touting like all the things that we're doing.
No.
We are here to let you know what's possible for you. We got you, boo. After you finish making all those excuses, we are here. Reach out, holler at us, okay?
Yes. Yes.
We're going to close things out, but I want you to let everybody know where they can get in contact with you, and then what's up next for you.
All right. So my primary means are Instagram. So my Instagram is the_happy_nurse_life. That's my IG page, and that's everything nursing. And I actually allow my audience to see my personal life, like my kids, my husband, like whatever. I just introduce everything, struggles. But the main portion of my page is really about motivation and inspiring. And so that's when I talk about that I'm a high school dropout. That's when I talk about my first car was a 1983 Nissan Sentra that I loved. Okay. And I was so proud of my little self for that. But then my other page, which is related to my boutique, is called Luxe, Luxe, Beauty and Wellness. So that IG handle is Luxe Beauty and Wellness. And that's when you can see the work. I show the shop, what services. I do have a blog that's called The Millennial Nurse, and it's www.themillennialnurse.com. And there I just share like exactly what we just talked about, how we discourage other nurses. You know, I share a story about me starting into nursing and really wanting to be in other areas, but feeling obligated to be at the bedside because of pressure. So I'm pretty much supporting nurses who are non-traditional, who don't want to go with the status quo, who, you know, are outside of the box thinkers. Whether you want to go at the bedside or not, I don't discourage it. But even with my students, I just feel like a lot of times we say what we hear people say and not what we feel. Like, you know, when you ask somebody why you want to be a nurse, because I care and I love people and I know, you know, it's the typical. So I really want to kind of target that community that understands if you don't know how to start an IV, you're still a nurse, because we are more than skilled. So that's the millennial.org. So that's it.
Okay.
That's enough.
That's enough, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then if people want to take your training, how could they do that?
Okay, so my website is www.luxebeautyandwellness.com. All my services are there, trainings included. It sounds like I do a lot. Even when I'm talking, I'm like, I also have products. I've got into this Yoni Bee Steam, which I love. I actually tried it, and then I was like, I want to sell this because that's just how much I believe in this product. I love it. So I started selling the product. So that's also on there. But everything Luxe does and has to offer is on the website, www.luxebeautyandwellness.com. So you can look there.
Yes, yes, yes. So make sure you guys are following Dr. Jones, Miss Kiana Jones, on all her platforms. If you're interested in glowing up and increasing your knowledge base and your ability to make more income, make sure you tap into her training. Super grateful for you joining me, Kiana. You have dropped bombs, like I said. We are here to inspire you, and you know, wherever you're at, we are here to support. And so just showing you what's possible and what other nurses are out here doing. So yes, thank you for everything.
You for having me.
Thank you for sharing and being open. Love all of it. All right. Wasn't that an awesome interview? I could have talked to Kiana forever. She is like my long lost sister, and it doesn't hurt that she's a fellow USC Trojan. Fight on. What I love most about her and the world of nursing is that she blazed her own trail and took a non-traditional path. And I think that nursing as a career is ripe for that.
Lesson number 1.
There are so many ways to enter into nursing and so many career options. Both of us got our nursing degrees secondary to having other higher education degrees, and it was actually a second career. And when we started working, we did not work in med-surg roles.
despite the popular sentiment that that's where you needed to start.
I share a story about me starting into nursing and really wanting to be in other areas, but feeling obligated to be at the bedside because of pressure. So I'm pretty much supporting nurses who are non-traditional, who don't want to go with the status quo, who, are outside of the box thinkers. Whether you want to go at the bedside or not, I don't discourage it. But even with my students, I just feel like a lot of times we say what we hear people say and not what we feel. Like, when you ask somebody why you want to be a nurse, because I care and I love people and I know, it's the typical. So I really want to kind of target that community that understands if you don't know how to start an IV, you're still a nurse, because we are more than skilled.
Lesson number 2.
It seems like Kiana can and does do it all. And it's a miracle because she gets it done working less hours than the average person. It's just like Parkinson's law. Work is going to expand to the time that you give it, and she is super efficient.
Oh my God, you do this, you do that. And then after they finish all, find out everything I do, I'm like, yeah, and I probably work less than you because I don't work 40 hours a week.
Lesson number 3.
So Kiana has put out a challenge for you guys in the Nurses on Fire community, okay? She is challenging you to pursue your dreams. Who are you to deprive others of your God-given gifts? So what dreams are you going to pursue?
You owe it to me to achieve your dreams, because your dreams may come true, and that can help someone else realize their dreams based on yours. So you owe it to me, and I'm challenging your audience.
Hey guys, I'm super excited to announce that I'll be speaking at the first annual Financial Freedom Summit, and I want to meet you there. It's going down May 1st through 3rd, 2020 in St. Louis. So if you're ready to kick your finances in gear, the mission of the summit is simple: to help you reach the next level in your financial journey, no matter where you are. Whether you're thousands in debt, building your first budget, saving 6 months of expenses, or close to financial independence, there's something for you at this event. What's even better is that there'll be 50 plus other financial experts for you to learn from, including my finance besties, Jamila from Journey to Launch and Kirsten and Julian from Rich and Regular. They'll be experts covering nearly every personal finance topic. This is your chance to connect with thousands of other people who have the same interests, goals, and philosophies as you. Not just that, but I'd love to meet you as well. So tickets are going fast, meaning that prices are going to increase soon. I want to make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck. Better yet, you can use a special discount code to get an even lower price. So use FREEDOM at checkout for 20% off your ticket. That's FREEDOM at checkout. Seriously, y'all, I think this event is going to be life-changing for so many people. I'm super honored to be part of it. So for more information on the first annual Financial Freedom Summit, click the link in the show notes, and don't forget to use the code FREEDOM at checkout. You've been listening to Nurses on Fire. If you want to learn more about me or my guests, check out our show notes page. If you found value, please support our show by supporting our sponsors and affiliate, also listed in the show notes. If you like what you're hearing, we'd love for you to give us a 5-star rating and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, or whatever podcast app you're using to stream this show. You guys, tell all the nurses in your life to subscribe. And if you know a nurse with a compelling money story and would like me to feature them, shoot me an email at Naseema@financiallyintentional.com. All right, y'all. Much love and keep them fires blazing.
Thank you for listening to my mommy's podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye. Bye.